Royal Enfield. Established in 1901 in Enfield, England, making it older than even Triumphs and Harleys. Its culture was deep-rooted in both the world wars, where they supplied motorcycles for British, Belgian, France, United States and Imperial Russian armies due to the motorcycle's rigidity, power and multi-terrain abilities. The brand started importing bikes to India in 1949, right after India's independence in 1947. The 350cc Bullet was chosen as the vehicle of choice for the government's patrolling purposes. In 1955, Enfield India was formed, and by 1957, the bikes were completely manufactured in India. Later, when the company went bankrupt and shut down operations abroad at around 1970, Enfield India continued to produce the vehicles. The company was later taken over by HR Motors Group by Vikram Lal and handed to his son Siddhartha Lal, who was tasked at returning the brand to its former glory. The classic 350 and 500 have been in production since 2009, and today they are one of Royal Enfield's best-selling motorcycles. The classic motorcycles aimed at riders looking for the true essence of Royal Enfield's traditional motorcycling experience. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do and like the video. We have a lot more interesting videos incoming, but for now, sit back and enjoy the rest of the video. Welcome to Shift and Search, and this is the Royal Enfield Classic 350. The bike is filled with circular designs throughout, right from all its lights, the speedo and all the other meters, the rear view mirror and so on, which gives it the retro appeal. The 13.5 litre tank with the RE logo is adequately sized and comes with tank pads for our knees to comfortably rest on. All the lights are halogen and provide okay visibility throughout. However, if you do plan to travel long at night, auxiliary lights would be a great addition. The bike is large to look at, especially from the side, where all its plus size components are placed. The battery and the fuse box are located to one side, whilst the air filter, which again is round, going well with the design theme, is located on the other side, which is great as they are very easily accessible. Apart from this, there is also a little space to place your tools in case they may ever be required. The quality of switch gears are okay, but definitely could have been better for RE standards. Dials are very basic and are legible. Amp meter, which really doesn't have a purpose today, has been replaced by ABS engine and low fuel indicators in the subsequent updates of the bike, which is a welcome addition. Almost all of the bike is made of solid metal, thus making it a heavy bike at 192 kilograms. But with metal also comes the issue of rusting, and unless maintained meticulously, it is very prone to rust in certain areas more than others, and this has to be taken care of. Riding the machine is a complete experience on its own. The bike feels long, wide and heavy, which it is, and you can tell when you ride it. This gives the macho appeal it is geared at providing. Sitting posture is upright and comfortable, and the trademark RE thump that gives the vehicle its characteristic is very much prevalent, and you will enjoy this completely. Gearing is fine, but has the traditional RE feel to it. You will feel the shifts. False neutrals occur occasionally and don't happen much once you get used to the gearing. Of the 5 gears on offer, the first 3 gears are shorter than the other 2. Within city limits, you will find yourself using more of the first 3 gears, and it is only in clear patches of roads where you will require the rest. Although you may not notice the bike's weight in open roads, you will certainly feel it in the traffic, which makes cutting through traffic a bit more difficult. The long wheelbase doesn't really help with this either, so the bike is aimed at providing a relaxed riding style. The brakes on the bike are fine as long as you travel in controlled speeds and ride sensibly. The older BS3 bike had a disc brake at the front and drum brakes at the rear. Although the bike now gets disc brakes for both wheels, You have to be wary of the fact the bike is a cruiser and not a sports motorcycle, because of which more of its weight is towards the rear wheel. This makes the braking ratio 50-50, for you have to have control over the motorcycle at times of braking. Motorcycling comes through practice, so make sure you do. The brakes don't have much initial bite and are progressive in nature, which I wish was better. The addition of ABS is a great inclusion as it helps prevent wheel locks and wheel skids caused due to abrupt braking, so thumbs up for that. The front suspension are telescopic units with a 130 mm travel. The rear suspension are gas-filled shocks with 80 mm travel and a 5-step tension adjustability, which is actually useful, and you can have it as per your preference based on the roads you take your bike to. On the standard setting, it is on the softer side and soaks up all bumps even over bad roads quite well, and provides you with a comfortable riding experience throughout. It's only the really big ones that you have to slow your bike down for. Speaking of comfort, the front seats are nice and huge on accommodation. With the addition of a gel seat for longer rides, you will feel completely comfortable throughout the ride. The same can't be said about the rear seats though, as they are narrow and you will feel discomfort over longer ride durations. Although the front seats are nice and large, the bike, as you all know, is notorious for all its vibrations. And these vibrations are prevalent throughout right from when you start the bike, and are especially prevalent in the higher revs, and hence you will have to make stops to prevent too much fatigue buildup. The 350cc engine produces an output of around 20 HP, but that 28 Newton meters of torque is what will stand out. The bike feels great lower down the revs and pulls easily over places that require uphill riding. The carbureted engine has now been made fuel injected and has one spark plug over its previous twin spark plugs. The newer bike is more refined and sounds smoother than its predecessor that we are looking at here. The older bike is raw and in my opinion sounds better than the newer one, also thanks to its custom exhaust from RE, just adding to that thump. The bike is not rev happy by its nature and will vibrate a lot if done so. The power band doesn't seem widely spread, and you will have to play with the clutch a bit to get a go at lower speeds in higher gears, which makes shifting necessary in traffic, and you will be fine once you get used to the bike. The tires have adequate grip when ridden at relaxed pace and will find no issues there. The bike is heavy, hence straight line stability is great. Corners are best taken at slow speeds as the bike doesn't hold its line at higher speeds. 60 to 100 is where the motorcycle feels right at home and vibrations are relatively numbed down at these speeds. But push it further and the vibrations will start kicking in. Any thoughts or requests you have on the bike or the video, let me know through the comments. I answer to almost all of them. Thank you. The motorcycle is reliable when maintained and serviced properly. Service interval is for every 3000 kilometers and will cost you an average of rupees 2500 per service. The service centers are different in different places, but the lethargic nature of the staff in terms of getting test rides and getting bikes serviced is evident, and I hope Royal Enfield improves upon this aspect as well. The bike's simple mechanism is made so that any RE enthusiast will be able to work on the bike with a little effort put towards learning its mechanics. There are also a host of color options and accessories available from the official Royal Enfield website itself. And not to mention the build your own bike part where you get to select and customize a lot of aspects of your bike in 3D is just a great initiative. All this and the several tours Royal Enfield organizes for its tribe just adds to the purchasing and owning experience of the motorcycle. From almost going bankrupt to selling almost 1 million units annually, RE is most certainly going in the right direction. And the same will be so for the bike's subsequent update, which will be coming out soon. So, who is the Classic series for? Well, this motorcycle, unlike misconceptions that some people have today, is not a sports bike. 0 to 100 km per hour takes almost half a minute, which is plenty. The bike is not geared at providing you the best value for money, nor the best performance per rupee. I also differ in opinion to those who say that Java is this motorcycle's competitor. This bike stands on its own. This machine is not the sensible nor rational choice. Rather, this is the one for the purists, the loyalists, for those whom owning an RE was a dream from their very childhood. This bike is for those who want to be part of a cult that one of the oldest biking brands has created in India. To put it simply, this bike is a window to its eminent and glorious past. Thank you for watching.